welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be the second installment in my Project Pan. So I will list my Project Pan playlist up above, but I've been doing updates every 3 months now, and this is my second update but third video. So I'm going to be going over all the products that I've been really trying to focus on, get some use out of, going over my progress for the last 3 months, as well as potentially rolling in some new items that I'm going to focus on. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, if you like Project Pan videos. And with all that, let's just get started talking about all of these products. I find that it's easiest to just go through order of application so I don't forget any products. I will be throwing up some progress photos just on the side here, as well as any weight updates if I have any. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be coming as I'm just talking about these products. But let's just first talk about primer. So the first one that I have is the Dior Capture Total, and this is the Multi-Perfection Makeup Base with Sunscreen. This was one of the oldest primers in my collection, and here's kind of where I started. Here was the 3-month update previously, and now I can say with certainty, I'm gonna get all that I can get out of this primer. You know, it looks like there's still some in there, but this top does not come off, and like no more, well now just some came out. Like no more is really coming out. It's like little spurts here and there. So I'm gonna call it, is it empty? No, but it's just become such a pain now that 80% of the time product won't even come out. I usually had to, for the last month and a half, like tap the bottom like this to try and get product to settle and then squirt it out, but that's not even working really anymore. So I'm gonna call it, you know, I wouldn't repurchase this primer. I think that it's overhyped, overexpensive. I don't necessarily love a non-pore blurring primer. This is just a glorified sunscreen to me, and I already use moisturizer and sunscreen. So I use this to use it up and get it out of my collection and feel like I got my money's worth out of it. But really, like, I don't think this did anything extra than just my normal skincare. And I did have a second primer. So this one I pulled in because I was almost done with it, and I actually cut it in half today. I was going to call this. I was going to say that it was empty, and then when I cut it, I just realized like how much product was still in here. So I'm not going to call it empty just yet. I'm going to keep working on it for the next 3 months. This is kind of gross to look at, but here was my very first when I started. Here's where the line was, and then here is where it was 3 months ago. So I'm going to continue to work on it, but since I had 2 primers, I've kind of realized this is my first time doing Project Pan. I'm learning as I go, and I realized I had a lot of products. So I have 2 primers here. I'm fairly confident I'm going to be able to finish this in the next month. I am going to replace this primer though with this one. So this is the Guerlain Lauder primer, and this I bought because it was pretty. They've now reformulated this primer, and there's a new version, which is why I decided to just pull it in. It's a very moisturizing primer, and since these are not the types of primers I go for, that's why I want to pull it into Project Pan. However, once I finish this primer, I will not be pulling in another primer. I will be sticking to just one primer and focusing on that. So this is the primer I'm going to start to work on. Hopefully I can finish this somewhat soon. It always takes me longer than I think to get through a product. I will diligently be using this every single day before my pore blurring primer and try and see just how long it takes me to get through this. I think my plan go forward is to have my just more moisturizing primers in Project Pan. And then as far as pore blurring primers, I'll be bringing that into Shop My Stash. I do also do a monthly series on Shop My Stash. I will also link that playlist above. So I have like multiple products I try to focus on. These are just ones that I'm really trying to finish up. And then next I have foundation, and foundation's a little bit more disappointing. So I pulled in the Chanel Le Beige Healthy Glow Foundation. This is the old formula before they reformulated it. So kind of same thing with the Guerlain. I just wanted to get through this because this is one of my top 3 favorite foundations of all time. And I want to try the new one, but I don't want to buy the new one until I finished the old one. And here are my lines. kind of on progress. And unfortunately, the line is going to stay because I didn't use this. I don't even think I used this once in the last 3 months. Reason being is that this is shade B30. And just in winter time, it was a little bit too dark for me. I was even, if you watched my last update, I was mixing this with the Vita Aqua Lumiere Chanel because I have B20, so I was kind of able to make it work. Just now, I was kind of over it. I've been testing a lot of foundations. There's been a ton of foundation releases recently, so I've kind of been focusing on that. I've been focusing on dedicated just ranking videos on foundations. I did Charlotte Tilbury. I'm doing Dior. So this kind of got pushed to the wayside, and it's gonna stay in. I'm gonna try and focus on it now more because I think now that it's starting to warm up just a teeny tiny bit, that this will start to match me more. So this is going to stay, but unfortunately no progress there. Now in terms of concealers, I had two because I was very overzealous when I first started my project pan. These are the two concealers that I have. The Nars Soft Matte Concealer in Vanilla, and then the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless Wear Concealer in the shade 1C Light. This I'm also calling done. This one's going to go in the trash. Unfortunately, it is not done. I was using this very often. I really like this concealer, which is why I pulled it in. I even pulled the stopper out because I thought I was really getting down there. This is one of these products that it doesn't sink on the sides, just like my Chanel, just like the Dior. Part of the reason why I pulled in the Guerlain, just as like a side tangent, because you can see the window there, and I think it's going to be really great for Project Pan. But, you know, I was making good progress on this. When I look down, like there's barely any product. However, this just went bad overnight. Like I was using it, and then the next day I was like, I don't know if my sense of smell got better or something, but it's fully expired. So I'm not going to continue to use it just to get through it for Project Pan. I'm going to unfortunately toss this. But since I have two concealers, here's the Nars Soft Matte Concealer, and I am making progress. I just don't use this as much as I was using my Estee Lauder. It's very easy for me to just pull out the Estee Lauder. I have it like in my little everyday makeup drawer system thing, but I always forget about this concealer. Here's what it's looking like. You'll of course see the more detailed progress photos. I'm making like somewhat of a dent, but now that I'm going to be trashing the Estee Lauder, I'm going to only keep this concealer so I can solely focus on this a little bit more. Of course, I'll still have my Shop My Stash concealer, things that I'm testing, etc. But I feel better only having one concealer for my Project Pan. So that is going to stay. Estee Lauder is immediately going in the trash. Moving on to powder, I pulled in the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. I have the shade 1 Fair. Now, when I started my Project Pan, you'll see the photo of when I first started, it had a huge pan in it. I mean, I couldn't believe even the first update that I hadn't finished it yet. But now I'm glad to say I completely finished this. It was such a relief. I wanted to cry the day that I finished it because I was so ecstatic. I'm really happy I actually finished a project. Like this kind of feels a little bit half-assed to me because I know that there's still product, I just can't get to it. But this, like verifiably, I finished. So I do plan on repurchasing this powder. I just want to get through another powder first, or just a few other powders first. I really want to keep my powder collection specifically pretty light, maybe like less than 10, and I have more than 10. Until I get through some of those other powders, I won't be repurchasing this, but this is my favorite powder, hands down. It works great all over the face. It works great under the eyes. I'm gonna be rolling in this powder here. This is the By Terry Hyaluronic Pressed Hydra Powder in Translucent. I've already been using this. So it did have like the embossing on it. I just decided to pull it in early, use it. I finished this at least 6 weeks ago, maybe even 2 months. So I've been using this pretty solidly every single day to set my concealer. And now you can barely even see the logo. This is just a mini travel size. I am liking this powder, just not as much as my Charlotte Tilbury. I'll get through it. I don't hate it so much that I wouldn't use it. I like it enough. It's just maybe like a 7, whereas the Charlotte Tilbury is a clear 10. So I will be rolling this in. I'm going to start the progress photo from today with how it looks now, not from how it looks before because I didn't take a photo of it. And hopefully I can finish this up, finish up some other powders, and then I can repurchase my all-time favorite powder. On to complexion, bronzer, blush, highlight. Unfortunately, this is not an exciting update. For bronzer, I have the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil in light. When I pulled this in, I really thought that by the first update, I was gonna have pan, and I just cannot get pan. You can see the rings more and more and more on this powder, but I use this often. You see it in my description box below. I always put everything that I'm wearing down below in the description box, and this is always on there. But for some reason, I can't hit pan on it. I'm gonna persevere. I'm gonna keep going. Same thing with blush and highlight. However, I wasn't really expecting to hit pan. For blush, I have the Ciate London blush in Date Night. Definitely some use. Like I can see some progress on here, not too much. I definitely don't reach for the blush and highlight as much as the bronzer or just other things in Project Pan. And I usually, a lot of the time, go for my Shop My Stash blush and highlight over these ones, but I do try and make an effort to go for these, and I feel like I'm making some progress. I would like to see more. I'm gonna try and just focus on them more and more. For highlight, I have the ColourPop Super Shock in Lunch Money, my favorite ColourPop highlight. I've heard this is a tough one to pan. I've heard it's tough to pan. A lot of people hit pan really quickly, and I can't even do that. So I'm worried about how long it's gonna take me to actually finish this up. I do use a brush for this, so I know that's not really helping my cause. The brush is just gonna pick up less product than if I was gonna use my fingers, but that's just how I prefer to apply it, and I'm in it for the long haul, so I will just continue with these 3 products specifically. I know that they're gonna be in my Project Pan the longest, but now I just have lips and setting spray. Let's go over those. For lips, the one that I chose is this one. This one is also discontinued. This is from Nars, and it's the Velvet Lip Glide in Bound. This is the lip color I'm wearing today. I absolutely love this. I wear it 90% of the time when I'm wearing a lip on camera here or just day to day. 90% of the time I'm wearing this. However, this is one of those products, again, like the window is just it's not windowing. It's not working for me. So I am gonna keep this like up top in like my everyday makeup drawer. However, I'm gonna pull this from Project Pan because it's just not motivating for me to use this as often as I do. After that Dior primer, this was like the product that I use the most, and to just have like no progress on it, like I'm sure I'm making progress, I can't tell. So I am going to switch this out. I'm gonna pull out another product that's pretty old in my collection that for some reason, it just keeps passing my declutters. I can't declutter it, but I haven't been reaching for it. So I'm hoping that having it just kind of up and not in my drawers back there will help me reach for this. And I think that it will help me also being able to see progress on this. So this is a Buxom product, and this is the Power Plump Lip Balm in the shade Glowing. It looks like this. It's like a huge dome kind of lip balm product. It has some color. Here's kind of where we're starting. This is practically brand new. I haven't used it that much. Part of the reason why I picked it is because the packaging is so bulky and irritating. Second, it's kind of just like a color balm. It's a little bit more sheer than this, so I think that it'll be easy to use every day. And then third, I'll actually be able to see some progress on it and be able to track it. Unfortunately, you know, as much as I love this product, I wish that they didn't discontinue it because I would buy other shades of this product. This is my favorite formula, hands down, out of any lip product I've ever tried. They just don't make it anymore. So like I said, unfortunately, I'm going to move it out, but it's going to stay. I'm still going to work on it just on the side here. It's just not going to be included in my Project Pan anymore. And then for setting spray, that's my last thing. I have this Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1 setting spray. This is so old. So here's kind of, the lines are kind of wearing off, but here's where I started. Here's my update 3 months ago. And I'm happy to say, oh, I finished it. I mean, part of it, I don't even know how much of this actually leaked out. This was the worst setting spray ever. Every day, like I have it all over my desk and it wasn't even doing anything. It was just sitting here. I hate this setting spray. I hated it before I used it. I pulled it in a project pan because I was sick of seeing it in my collection, but I had hung on to it for so long that I felt like I had to finish it. And I'm glad that it's gone. But to be honest, half of this probably just leaked. You have it like fully standing up and for some reason it just leaks. So I have it all over my floor. I have it everywhere all the time. Every time I used it, it was a pain. I really tried to focus on this setting spray. I haven't been using setting spray as much lately, but I made an effort to use it. Anytime I would do swatches, like if you see my foundation reviews, any of those swatches that you see, I would use that to take the swatches off. It's just my reusable makeup pad wipe eraser thing instead of using a makeup wipe. I'm so glad this is out of my collection. I'm so glad to be throwing this away, quite honestly. It's just sticky. I never liked it to begin with. I love coconut scented things. That doesn't smell like coconut to me. I cannot just say how much I really dislike that product. I never liked it to begin with. I don't know why I continue to keep it. And then what I'm gonna roll in is this Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist. Window. I'm picking things that have a window where I can see my progress on them. So this is right about here. Not too much is gone. I think I'll actually be able to finish this fairly quickly. I remember Mel Thompson loved this. I'm pretty sure that's probably why I purchased it. She went through like a dozen of these. So I know that you can complete them pretty quickly, and I'm excited to just focus on this and get some setting sprays out of my collection because they're not necessarily something I reach for all the time. But now that I've been a little bit more into matte, semi-matte foundations, I've been reaching for setting spray more. I've been liking it. So excited to roll this in, see if I can finish it out and just have like a more manageable setting spray collection. And those are all my products. So I am pretty overall, I'm happy with my progress. 3 months ago, there was really not any progress. I thought that I was gonna maybe finish some things up or hit pan, and I really didn't. So I tried extra hard. I was like, I am not filming this video until at least something is done. And I was able to finish a few products and roll some new ones in. So it's just really motivating to see progress on some of these things, see my collection just getting a little bit more curated. You'll have to let me know down below in the comments if you're doing a project pan, what kind of like your makeup goals are, because I really just want to have like a core collection. Yes, I review makeup products as well, but I try not to hang on to things if I know I'm not going to use them. And at the end of the day, like I just want a collection that I love all the products and being honest with myself about those. So let me know your makeup goals down below. I do ask this in every single one of my project pan videos because I don't know too many people who do project pan videos. I've found a few in the last couple of months or so, but if you have any recommendations on people who also do project pan videos, I would love if you could list them down below so I could subscribe to them. Like I said, I found a few, but I'm looking for more. So if you have any recommendations, let me know down below. But that's all that I have for everyone today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.